Chicago's homicide count has been falling. According to Chicago Police Department data, the city recorded 573 murders in 2024, the lowest annual total since 2019. That marked an 8% drop from 2023's 620 homicides. Despite the welcome drop, the numbers remain grim. Chicago still suffers far more gun murders per capita than most U.S. cities. Many of the homicide victims are young and live in segregated, disinvested neighborhoods. Police stress that each percentage decline means dozens of families spared grief, yet the city's murder rate, roughly 20 per 100,000 people in recent years, is still a national concern, especially since it reflects deep social crises in Chicago's words. The 2024 totals were the lowest level since 2019, but they also underscore how far violence has fallen from its pandemic peak.
Street through these programs, there's a system in place to log and then destroy the guns people.
How they getting in?
It's not clear what went wrong this time. A group of reporters has been able to match the missing gun to shell casings at 3 different Chicago shootings. As Chicago police work crime scenes and tout taking guns off streets, a twist when it comes to what happened to one of those guns. A .45 caliber Glock is at the center of the story. Illinois Answers Project and the Sun-Times laying out an investigation into what happened at a Southside gun buyback in 2023.
Every murder in Chicago is, at its core, a bullet fired on the street. Police routinely recover and trace thousands of weapons.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Everybody in the South, everybody house in the South looks like this right here. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all, bro. If you live in the South, bro, your crib looking like this. I ain't gonna lie. Everybody got guns, bro.
Each year. In 2024, Chicago officers seized 12,733 guns, about 35 per day, marking the 4th consecutive year over 12,000. Through just January and February 2025, the department reported 829 guns recovered in January and 765 in February, roughly 1,500 in January and 760.
I guess this is when the ghost guns came out in 2016. Them boys done fucking upped it. I wonder what it's like for 2025. They gotta do a new update. Probably fucking 3,000.
5 in February, roughly 1,594 so far this year. This massive haul does not come from nowhere. Law enforcement notes that most crime guns originate elsewhere. Federal firearms traces show that in 2023, Chicago's
probably from the fucking government, bro. Real talk, probably from the fucking government, bro. They be putting that shit in here, bro.
Crime guns were sold in Illinois, 114 traces, in its neighbor, Indiana, 196 traces, far more than any other state. As the Department of Justice report bluntly states, a significant number of firearms recovered in Chicago originate outside Chicago and are illegally trafficked into the city. Traffickers exploit looser gun laws and straw buyers. City experts say illegal weapons reach Chicago through 3 channels: unlicensed local dealers, straw purchases in nearby states, and gun thefts. For example, rivers of guns flow north from Indiana and south from Missouri into Chicago streets. In 2024, the CPD even launched a Crime Gun Intelligence Center in partnership with the ATF to rapidly trace guns to crimes. Each recovered weapon is logged. CPD claims the new center can link a gun used in a crime within 24 hours. The goal is to cut off trafficking networks, but the task is immense.
Them boys getting into their technology. I ain't gonna lie, they got Mark Zuckerberg up in that bitch or something. Hold on.
Worsening the danger, untraceable ghost guns have emerged. These 3D printed or unfinished frame firearms carry no serial number. In May 2025, a North Chicago dealer was indicted for selling over a dozen ghost guns and dozens of conversion kits to undercover agents, and Illinois authorities warn that such ghost weapons conversion kits to undercover.
That looks wicked, bro. Yeah, that all looks wicked. No serial, nigga. Untraceable.
Agents and Illinois authorities warn that such ghost weapons fuel criminal activity, destabilize neighborhoods, and make it difficult, if not impossible, for law enforcement to solve crimes, according to Attorney General Kwame Raoul. In other words, as regulation tightens on paper guns, many criminals are simply manufacturing their own. Between 2024 and 2025, Chicago has seen record seizures of both real guns and these homemade guns, a real-time arms race in city streets.
Damn.
Chicago's violence is
Damn,
overwhelming.
that shit coming. Oh, boy. They might as well make them bitches legal, bro. Oh, yeah, we rolling up in the white grapes, bro. This is my fucking favorite shit to roll in now, bro. I love the white grapes. On top.
Overwhelmingly gang violence. Official data suggests about 1 in 5 murder victims were killed in a gang attack in 2023. Though city police report that over 20% of the year's homicides were flagged as gang motivated, that fraction, though tragically high, is actually the lowest in 2 decades. Analysts say gangs have splintered into smaller crews and police lost track of many members after a gang database was disbanded in 2023. In fact, gang-dag crimes in 2023 fell to their lowest point since before 2004, with just 1,808 incidents identified that year. Experts caution, however, that the data may undercount reality. Former police and violence prevention leaders point out that street gangs in Chicago have decentralized. The hierarchical underworld government that once ruled Chicago's organized crime is now fragmented.
Yeah, that shit's different now. Like back in the day, that shit used to be organized, bro. That's like some LA shit. LA's still organized. Now they're just, them boys out there wilding.
It's not broken are the crew's territorial feuds and drug networks. Chicago's map of violence is still drawn along gang lines. The city's most hard-hit neighborhoods on the south and west side.
A lot that's bad diverse though. That shit's crazy diverse, bro.
Are home to decades-old alliances. Black and Latino gangs like the Black P. Stones, Vice Lords, Gangster Disciples, Latin Kings, and others. Even in prison, kingpins still make headlines. For example, Chicago Sun-Times reports on Larry Hoover, the founding leader of the Gangster Disciples and one of the most notorious criminals in Illinois history, now serving life in a federal supermax. Hoover recently fought for a rare courtroom appearance to argue he'd renounced the gang life, a reminder of how enduring these groups are. And new players are arriving. In late 2024, local media raised alarms about an influx of Venezuelan migrants moving into the South Side. Some of these newcomers include members of the Trendy Araga, a ruthless criminal gang transplanted from Venezuela. Community members and former gang figures warned that clashes are brewing. Blacks against migrants, one ex-gangster said, fearing Chicago turf wars between entrenched local gangs and the unified newcomers. Neighborhood residents report increased robberies and encroachment by Venezuelan gangsters. Whether these tensions erupt or subside, they are a vivid sign that Chicago's gang warfare is far from over. Even as overall murder numbers shrink.
Shit, when y'all think that shit's gonna end, bro? I ain't gonna lie, that shit probably gonna burn down, bro. Turn to Atlantis or some shit before that shit ends. I'm gonna keep it real, bro.
Every gun pulled in gang conflict underlined the city's fragile peace. Each statistic, the year's 573 homicides, thousands of traffic guns, and hundreds of gang fights represents lives in peril. Chicago's recent crime reports offer a note of progress, but experts say the work is unfinished. From the recording studios downtown to the block parties on the west side, everyone here feels the tension. In this city of sharp contrast, the decline in shootings is real, but so is the lingering threat of the next outbreak of violence.
How you got a ghost Glock with a switch? What if it go down? Get out of here.
Chicago's strict gun laws are no match for the flood of illegal weapons that pour in from out of state. A recent crime lab analysis found only about 40% of crime guns recovered here were bought locally. 60% originate elsewhere. In 2024 alone, police grabbed over 8,500 guns in a matter of weeks, on track to exceed 12,000 by year's end. Illinois grades out A- for gun laws, but neighboring states lag far behind. Indiana is rated D, and Missouri, Kentucky, and Iowa all earn Fs. In practice, this means gangs and traffickers drive the interstate highways like I-80 and I-55, hauling armories into the city. FBI and ATF trace data repeatedly show both shipments originate.
They be letting that shit happen though, bro. That's the one thing that they don't be saying in these motherfucking videos, bro. They be letting that shit happen, bro. The government, bro. I'm gonna keep it in a beam, bro. I ain't sugarcoating shit, bro. I'm gonna keep it real.
And out-of-state gun shops even small rural dealers. For example, Chicago, and federal investigators identified an Indiana store, Westford Sports in Gary, as a major source. Over 850 guns traced to Chicago crime scenes came from that single retailer, and dozens of its customers have been charged with trafficking firearms. Illinois' gun trafficking problem is local news. One WTTW investigation recounts how a Gary man bought 19 guns in 6 months and took most of those firearms across the state line to Chicago, selling them illegally for profit. One high-profile federal case named over 50 Indiana residents indicted on firearm trafficking charges, many for straw purchasing weapons funneled straight to Chicago gangs. In short, every day dozens of new guns exit Indiana, Mississippi, or elsewhere and arrive here. The city police know the routes well. Suitcases hidden in trunks, mail parcels mismanifested, even friendly shoppers who answer ads. And because Chicago disallows local retail sales of handguns, criminals have no qualms buying in bulk just across the border.
We got a drawer under the fucking seat. Nigga, ready. At all costs. Any means fucking possible. He's up in that thing. No, that's crazy.
1,500 Glock switches were seized in 2024 by U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers that were stationed right here in Chicago. They seized 473 shipments with the weapon-modifying devices.
Over the last 2 years, Chicago police have seized over 1,100 Glock handguns converted into legal machine guns. In 2024, U.S. Customs and Border Protection in Chicago intercepted 473 shipments carrying 1,507 Glock switches, most shipped from China. A Glock switch.
Yeah, you can get them hoes off Alibaba, I think, bro, or Amazon or some shit. Don't fucking try that shit, bro. YmbTyson did not tell you that shit. Indeed, you got that from you got that from Google, nigga. Yeah.
Is a tiny aftermarket chip or lever that makes a semi-automatic pistol fire full auto. By late 2024, CPD had logged thousands of recovered crime guns. The ATF Chicago boss warns this is something that didn't exist 4 years ago, a new frontier for violent crime.
That shit's crazy, boy. That's for warfare.
A lone moon lights the interchange of I-55 and Kingery Highway. In the distance, a semi-trailer idles. Traffickers smuggle weapons around inspection points. Federal agents and Chicago detectives pursue shipments, and gang networks continuously die. One official notes bluntly, over half the guns recovered in Chicago crime were trafficked here from other states. ATF intelligence shows rings that recruit buyers in permissive states to straw purchase dozens of weapons, then drive them back. In one case, a gunman's sister posed as buyer for an AR-15 and handguns in Indiana, immediately handing them off to a Chicago buyer. Often these sets of guns hit Chicago shooting scenes within days. Primary suppliers, states like Indiana, Missouri, Kentucky, and others with lax laws flood Chicago with guns. A University of Chicago study found that Illinois law-abiding gun buyers actually accounted for fewer traced crime guns than all other states combined. Convicted traffickers, one analysis showed at least 53 people were indicted for trafficking firearms into Chicago. Local follow every recovered gun tells a story. For example, CPD once traced the Glock used in a Southside murder to a Florida vendor, and an Illinois Sun-Times probe found multiple homicides committed with guns straw purchased in Indiana. Each bust underscores the ease of this interstate pipeline. The result is grim. Loaded pistols and rifles saturate Chicago's streets. Many come out of violent arrests or traffic stops. A drug raid.
Bro, I gotta come there, bro. Just to the city, though.
Yields an AR-15 and 30 Glock handguns with extended mags. Another highway bus turns up a van full of pistols hidden under blankets. All points to one truth. When you lock down local sales, criminals will keep importing weapons at high volume. A standard Glock 19 pistol, shown, can be transformed into a handheld machine gun with a tiny Glock switch.
Wow.
This auto-sear attachment is roughly the size of a quarter, but its impact on violence is outsized. When snapped onto a Glock's firing mechanism, it bypasses the normal semi-auto fire and forces the gun to fire continuously. While the trigger is held, in seconds it can unload an entire magazine, theoretically up to 1,200 rounds per minute, turning a common semi-auto pistol into a spray and pray weapon. The switch is illegal. Possessing or importing it is a federal crime, but enforcement is difficult. CBP notes that these devices can be ordered online or made by 3D printers, and many are smuggled as small parts in international packages.
That's for the
ATF agents
you can put the
confirmed
3D
the
printed
trend.
ones on the stocks. Y'all let me know in the comments. Can you put the 3D printed ones on the stocks? I don't, not for personal. That is asking for a friend.
Nationwide, switches are up hundreds of percent since 2019. Locally, investigators say the switch can be bought on the dark web or even off the shelf in on parts. One young man was arrested last year with the device and a pile of $20 0 bills he used to advertise it on Instagram. How the switch works. When attached, the auto sear physically locks open a Glock slide after each shot, allowing it to fire again instantly without releasing the trigger. In effect, one pull fires a whole drum of ammo. The technical ease astounds officers. Chicago's police superintendent called it absolutely insane that a weapon can spray 30 bullets in a second. The gang interrogations reveal kids bragging, "I hold it down, let it rip." And social media is full of clips showing muzzle flashes carving through crowds. The cinematic effect is terrifying.
Crazy,
a small
bro.
black pistol morphs into a chattering machine gun, bullets sputtering down alleys. On Chicago streets, full automatic firepower is no longer the exclusive domain of hardened criminals. It's slipping into young hands. Countless stories illustrate this. In early 2023, police found 3 fully automatic Glocks in the bedroom of a 16-year-old charged with killing 2 classmates. Now, the case recovered 2 switches-equipped Glocks at a teen house party shooting. Federal investigators note teenagers as young as 14 have been arrested carrying modified handguns. The guns are looked at to be cool status symbols, often obtained through older gang contacts or online sources. A Fox 32 news item in 2024 detailed a 22-year-old who not only possessed a Glock switch, but flaunted it on social media next to stacks of $20 bills. A stark warning that these dangerous toys are treated like novelties among youth. Chicago police sub Larry Snelling called it automatic.
Dude, niggas started getting caught back in like 09. Like, nah, not 09, but like 2013, bro, on social media. So, motherfucker, why are you still doing this shit in 2025, bro? Come on.
Equipped handguns absolutely insane because they turn any street corner into a spray zone. Teenagers report peer pressure to carry. Videos on TikTok even advertise how
bro,
easily
how the fuck
a Glock
TikTok
can be
put that on there, but they gonna try to ban me? What? You gonna let it go to Switch? What? You gonna ban me? Shit crazy, bro. Y'all go follow the TikTok, bro, and the Twitch. We live every single day. Y'all join the Discord as well. Y'all can send videos to react to. Live every day, bro. Shit about to be good, but
On a summer evening in July 2021, local rapper Londre Sylvester stepped out of Cook County Jail near 27th Street when a car pulled up and 2 men fired dozens of shots. In the fusillade, he was hit by an extraordinary number of bullets. Investigators later learned he may have been shot as many as 64 times. Sylvester, a 31-year-old affiliated with the gangster Disciples, collapsed on the sidewalk and died before he could reach help. 2 women with him were also struck but survived. No suspects have been publicly identified for this execution-style ambush. Police records give no clear motive. The case remains unsolved. A chilling example of Chicago's gang fire power. In December 2021, a quiet immigrant
neighborhood be catching them because the fucking so many murders, bro. That shit, I don't even know if I want to visit this city. If I'm a guy, y'all hit me up.
Hood on Chicago's south side was shattered. Retired restaurateur Woom Singh Tessie, age 71, had just stepped from his car outside an elementary school to buy a newspaper. A lone gunman suddenly opened fire and pummeled Tessie's body with bullets. Prosecutors later disclosed Tessie was struck 22 times. Witnesses described the scene as a bloody execution. NBC News reported that authorities quickly arrested 23-year-old Alfonso Joyner, charging him with murder, but no clear motive was given. The police termed Teezy's death an execution in court, even dubbing it one of the most heinous attacks because the frail grandfather was hit so relentlessly on a crowded street. In February 2022, the community around 67th and Western awoke to horror. A 15-year-old named Sincere Cole was found dying on the sidewalk, shot from foot to forehead. Family and witnesses said Cole had been gunned down from his feet to the crown of his head. In all, he suffered 24 bullet wounds. His tearful aunt shouted, "What type of animal does that?" as she described the carnage. Cole had been walking to a nearby gas station when shooters opened fire.
Bro,
he died at the scene. Police have made no arrests, and the motive, possibly gang retaliation, remains unclear. This savage attack on a young student became yet another tragic headline in Chicago's never-ending cycle of violence. Early one morning in March 2024, on Chicago's South Side, detectives found 19-year-old Darnell Shanks slumped behind a church at 72nd Street. He had been ambushed in a vacant lot. The coroner's report shows Shanks had 20 gunshot wounds. Despite frantic efforts, he was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Shanks' killing, a noontime drive-by, left the neighborhood in shock. Police have disclosed only that Shanks was a young man with no known gang ties. They have no suspects or apparent motive. His death, punctuated by 24 bullet holes, was another grim data point in Chicago's recent surge of mass shootings. Each of these tales ends the same way: bodies riddled with holes. In Chicago, investigators warn that fully automatic firepower has become routine in murders. A 2022 Chicago.
They always say that they didn't have nothing to do with it, bro, but that's what the family usually says. But I don't know, I feel like a lot of the times, bro, there's something to do with it, bro. They're involved some way. They wanted to be involved some way, bro. That's just real shit.
Chicago Tribune investigation noted fatal shooting victims now suffer nearly twice as many bullet wounds as in past decades. Forensic experts explain why. Even one bullet can devastate a body through massive hemorrhage and organ damage. Multiple bullets multiply that trauma. Pathologists describe a phenomenon called temporary cavitation. Each bullet creates a violent pressure wave that tears tissue far beyond its path. Dozens of rounds simply multiply the number of organs shattered and vessels severed, overwhelming any chance of survival. The weapons make it worse. In 2022,
to survive several wounds, you are blessed by the man above, bro. I'm gonna be real. Thank you to the man above. I appreciate you for everything, bro. That shit is crazy, bro. I've never been hit before, bro, and I never want to be, but I'm just saying, bro, if you are multiple times, that shit is a blessing, bro.
A Chicago mass shooting witness said the gunfire sounded like war movies, rapid bursts, 20 shots in a second, and police confirmed the attacker had used a Glock 19 converted with an illegal auto-sear switch.
Damn, yeah, them Glocks be loud as fuck. Can't even lie.
In late 2021, Chicago made headlines again with the major gang bust on the South Side. A federal indictment charged 23 men associated with the Black Disciples street gang in Inglewood. Among them was alleged gang leader Darnell "Murder" McMiller. During the multi-year undercover probe, agents seized 24 firearms and large quantities of narcotics. Recovered guns included handguns and sawed-off shotguns found in raid locations. Investigators say the Disciples members conducted at least 50 undercover deals, selling guns and fentanyl-laced heroin to cooperating informant. The indictments, unsealed in November 2021, detail hundreds of charges for drug trafficking and firearms violations. The FBI and CPD's gang units spearheaded the case, with assistance from ATF and the IRS Crime Division. Many of the Disciples' defendants were caught on video handing over weapons to undercover officers. Prosecutors noted that this crew even filmed themselves bragging about murders on social media before the arrest. Of note, a related 8-person indictment in Wisconsin charged
Hey, bro, how the fuck you gonna get on there and brag about that shit, bro?
of the ring who were pushing heroin northward. This bust disrupted a core gang group in Inglewood, but also underscored how gangs were getting ghost and off-the-books guns. The feds recovered a homemade rifle, a ghost gun, and a fully automatic pistol in the raid. But that'll be about it for this video. Make sure you like or dislike, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments.
Homemade rifle is wild, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Nah, that's wild. If y'all enjoyed this video, man, y'all want more reactions like this, like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, follow me on Instagram. Send me videos y'all want me to react to, man. I appreciate y'all for watching. I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Tyson, out.